Have you ever seen one of these murals? There's a few discoveries like these. Sometimes, it's a bunch of critters being cute. Other times, it's a retro flashback to some classical tunes. And sometimes, I don't think it's intended. Due to the sheer size of open-world games, mistakes are bound to slip by. Just like this small floating rock, there are often small mistakes and quite easy to miss. But just like this gaping hole in the waters, once you see it, it's quite glaring. But some of these are so glaringly obvious, but are so well concealed, that nobody's going to notice them without the proper tools. Yes, this is an untextured piece of terrain, and no, this is not an issue with my game files. Others were able to find and confirm the mistake. Among the mistakes you're unlikely to notice are the stretched textured walls. Normally, these walls of basic geometry are meant to be hidden behind rocks. Take a quick peek inside a cave, you're bound to find a missing rock. It's not limited to just walls. Take for example this quite ugly-looking dirt texture near the drop pod. It is impossible to not view this side story without noticing it.
I still remember that day.
Hopefully, you don't pay too much attention to the grass in South Elio. There's a surprising amount of strangely placed grass. Their pale yellow base makes it very easy to spot from afar. And while misplaced grass appears elsewhere, South Elio just seems to suffer the most from this issue. I'm going to assume South Elio was rushed in development because outside of the grass issue. This is perfectly normal. But incorrect collisions aren't just limited to here. Whether it's floating above the ground or sinking down inside a rock, there's a few spots with some questionable collision. There's even a spot that lets you put your head underwater, which shouldn't be possible. Alright, let's slide into something else. Take a gander at the waterfall's rushing water, which is being completely negated by a wave of ocean foam. Fascinating, right? Clipping isn't limited to just water. This one is most likely an optimization trick, but if you were to get closer, you'll notice a horrible looking seam. And let's not talk about the texture on that. Some walls have these weird gaps, almost like they're secret caves. But they're not. One of them even requires a photon art to break in, so these are definitely not intentional. Actually, now that I think about it, this snowy region really is a mess. And it's not because you can stand under a rushing waterfall. Yes, that's a bit weird, but no one's going to see that. Nor is it tied to this weird bug, which could either be an issue with the lighting or a glitch with the textures. It blends nicely during the night, but it still feels off somehow. And I'm also not talking about that beautiful wide wall of ice, utterly ruined by some random rocks tucked away in a corner. No, what really annoys me the most about this region is the sheer amount of infinite falling spots. An infinite falling spot is an area of the world where the game is unable to make you land, and thus, you fall infinitely. If you don't move your character within the next 10 seconds, then you'll be warped to the nearest Ryuker device. And inside a quest, it'll be the spawn point. But these cold lands are filled to the brim with these. The minute you stray away from a simple path and try climbing or descending rocks, be prepared to encounter many of these annoyances. Based on your kit, You might not even have a photon art that would let you climb out of some of these traps. Originally, I wasn't going to cover these, but I stumbled into so many of them while I was making this video. They're off the beaten path, but it's still rather jarring. There's several more of these kinds of mistakes hiding around Halpha, but this is where I'll end it for now. We could keep going, but I've already shown the basic types of mistakes. I doubt people would care about strangely baked shadows on a rock. Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.
Wait, Yvonne, there's a cool thing behind you worth adding to the video.
But I had the line just right. All right, where is it?
Turn around.
Oh, SEGA.